Jeremy, we are back.
This is take 2, by the way, because
This
apparently.
is take 2.
So if we do a bad job, I'm sorry, because the last one we freaking killed it.
We're a little bit jumpy now because we thought we did such a great job on the first one, and then we finished, and we were so excited about episode 2, and then it didn't record. so here we are again.
Yeah, we're here again.
So we got through episode 1, and we came back.
We dumped these out.
We didn't have the first part because it's what the show's about.
Exactly.
So.
We're trying to.
But we have to get back to it. So this week, the Martini is. It's something that I just literally went to the store and thought, hey, this could be interesting. So we're going to see.
It's the Todd Teeny.
Yeah, it's a Todd Teeny. And it's for, I think maybe the ladies potentially would like this more-ish because they like the lemon drops and things like that. So this is Kettle One Citron lemon with a little lemon juice. And the secret ingredient is some lemon bitters, which is... not something people normally put in vodka. So we're gonna see how this goes.
It looks really good.
It looks like maybe what a lemon drop would look like.
I would give it a solid 10 olives for the look.
The presentation?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think so. Here, cheers.
Cheers.
Martini time. So
that's good.
So let's just go straight away. I mean, last week we went with the dirty martini, the Tito's.
Yep.
And we both scored it a 7.5 olives.
I just need a little water for a second.
We both scored a 7.5 olives. So where would you go with this one?
I would do a solid 5 olives.
I would give it 4. I don't think this is very good. It's very tart. Maybe the bitters. Maybe bitters aren't supposed to be in vodka.
That'd be interesting to see. I mean, like I said, is if I was at a party or someone's house, I wouldn't be like, wow, this is bad. I'd still drink it, and then I'd switch to a Bud Light.
I mean, I would potentially think about anything else, like a Truly or whatever, just to wash that down.
Oh wow, so it's truly not good.
Boom. That was good. No, that's good. I mean, better than last week.
Wait, my joke or
the dirty martini?
Oh yeah,
that one was.
Yeah,
that was not good.
Well,
so anyway, this is probably not going to be given a return.
It is kind of fun that you made your own up, and I think that's kind of cool.
So guess what I'm going to do next week? It's on you. You get to make your own next week, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay, cool. Well,
make your own vid. Don't spend a bunch of time on recipes. This was non-recipes, but it teaches you maybe why there are recipes. Because if you just try to wing it,
I still think it's pretty good. I mean,
you could drink it.
Yeah.
After you finished one, the next one would be no problem.
Yeah. Well, good thing we're only on one for the episode.
Correct. If that. So you got some questions.
I do.
Week.
Yeah. So we got some questions that came from Instagram, which is awesome. I think that's pretty cool. Our first video.
Yeah.
Got 2 questions. So we'll go over those. If we can make it the second one, awesome. If not, then.
No, we can.
All right, screw it. We'll do it. All right. Yeah. So the first one is, let me go on the Instagram real quick. It says, I am on the fence about buying with the rates increasing. What are your takes on this? Is it better to rent for a little bit first to save money, or what would you do?
Well, I mean, I think the answer always is if you're thinking between renting and buying, and when you also add into that question with where the interest rates are, I mean, your effective interest rate of renting is 100%.
That's pretty high.
So I try not to talk about rates in terms of being high.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah.
I mean, that's high. I mean, 100% is just, there's not much, So I think that's important to keep that in mind, though. I think when people are focused on, hey, this rate is 6%, 7%, whatever it may be, and they're thinking maybe it makes more sense to rent, remember that your rent is going to increase most likely each year as well with nothing extra for you. Whereas in that same year, you may have gotten appreciation.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, and to kind of piggyback on that, like what we said last week too, is like when I looked on Mortgage News Daily today, it said we're at like 6.5, 6 3/4 or whatever. That's not high. Like that's average, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think one of the things about interest rates that I think is important to note is that we get asked all the time, hey, what's the rate?
Yeah.
It's not a simple answer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what kind of loan program? It's what's your credit score? It's how much of a down payment are you going to put down? So, is it going to be a primary residence? There's so many factors that, that's when I hate when someone says, hey, I saw that so-and-so had a rate of 6% or 5.5%. And it's like, well, they had a 950 credit score and they put down 90%.
Yep.
Right? Like it's
Some
not
like crazy.
You have to know all the parameters, and each piece has different factors.
Yep. I mean, that's true. It's good.
It is. Yeah.
I think the other part too is it's kind of also like what works for you, right? So like if you aren't ready to buy, then I guess that's fine. If you are ready to buy, that's fine too. I think it's if you're looking at the question of that with the rates increasing, should I rent to save more money? I think no, because when you really look at saving money, we're not. I mean, it's
No.
the prices are still going up. Homes sold right now, this month right now versus last month, homes sold are still up 33%. The sales prices are still up. The average square foot is up 4.5%. So in terms of saving money, you're not really saving money. I mean, the longer you wait, the more money you're actually kind of losing.
No, in fact, I think for next week we should actually do a example.
Yeah.
Where we say, here's an example of somebody who rented.
Yep.
Here's an example of somebody who bought today with, whatever. If it's somebody who doesn't have a lot for a down payment, there are programs for that. But maybe we just look at, say, an FHA loan, or whatever. We can pick whatever loan we want, but we can kind of look at, say, a 10-year time frame and say, here's what it would look like had you rented. Here's what it looks like, had you bought.
Yeah.
And what that does.
That'd be good. And let us know if there's other things you want us to go over too. I think that'd be good.
For sure. I think because I think that's one of the things people think about all the time. So there's different things, right? Like a lot of people want to own a home.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to own homes for different reasons. Some people want to own real estate for wealth reasons.
Investment. Yep.
Some people just want to have a home of their own. They want to have a place they can call their own. They want to have a dog. They want to have, whatever it is. They want to paint the walls pink and just whatever. And they don't want to deal with their landlord.
The freedom of it.
Yeah, for sure. So, sometimes it's not all about, the best payment or if making the most money. Sometimes it's just about having a great place to live.
I think that kind of nails it right there. Yeah. I mean, it's that. Right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's all right.
But then we have to drink this now.
It's kind of the hallmark moment, right?
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
That's all right.
I think another thing though to talk about too is rents also increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like an example that I would say is I was staying at a place and it was $1,000 a month, which was really good price. And then the next year they raised it to $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
So I was paying $200 more a month for the exact same spot.
Yeah.
I think that also kind of, in my mind, sucks a little bit. I that's what I like about home ownership is that your payments don't really increase. I mean, maybe a little bit because of property taxes. Like mine raised literally $9, but I rather pay $9 than $200.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference there is like, your landlord, when you're renting, their property taxes are going up as well.
Yep.
Right. So they have to raise your rent, but they're raising it and it doesn't cost them anything because they're making you pay for it.
Exactly.
At least when your property taxes go up, you still are getting the appreciation and it's still your home.
And you can use it on your taxes too, at the end of the year.
True.
So I think that's good.
Please consult your tax advisor.
Yes. I don't know about
I mean, we are not here to talk politics or give tax advice. We are not doing that.
You didn't know that I was a CPA?
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm not.
Okay.
I use TurboTax.
Why did you ask for my tax returns then?
I wanted your social. I just bought another car.
Oh, that's sweet.
Maserati's over there.
Oh, that's nice.
All right, let's go over the next question. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. My mom is having a hard time selling her home. What would you do to list a home better? Let's see. What would you do? I know you're not in real estate, like the real estate agent, but what would you do? Like if, let's say you're a seller, your home's not selling, what would you want to do?
I mean, there's obviously...
Or what would you expect of your agent to do, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some kind of non-negotiables, right? You expect that you're going to have some nice photos. You expect that it's going to present well. And, if maybe I don't have the nicest furniture, maybe you can help me with some staging, potentially. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but I think, so obviously it's got to present well.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, everything will sell for the right price. And I'm not talking about real estate alone.
Just
I'm
in
talking
general.
about in general. Like if you want to buy a shirt and it's $50 and you're like, that's too much, but then it's 40% off, you might buy it.
Well, you like buying stuff on OfferUp, right?
I
mean,
do.
like you're like the king of that. I feel
I
like
do.
I'm like, how did you even find that? You
I
know,
find some random stuff.
we are playing Sonos right now. If you guys don't, we're sponsored by Sonos, I think actually. So he finds those. For,
I got these on
yeah,
OfferUp.
the whole freaking,
Yeah,
really?
I did. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but those are, I mean, honestly, so there's the same kind of idea, right? So those new are like $500 a speaker.
yeah.
And those were $75 a piece.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, hit him up. He doesn't.
If you want to buy something random, I can find it for you.
Yeah.
But that's not what this show's about. But I think, again, going back to that, I mean, if the house is priced right, it is going to sell. And if the house is priced maybe even low, it might sell for more.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a strategy you can use too. I think the strategy that's tougher is when you're like, hey, this house is worth $675, let's price it at $8.
Yeah.
And let's see what's going to happen.
And I think that's what sellers do. They look at it, there really is two different ways. You can either price a little low, let it drive up, or you price high and you let it go down. It's how you want to list your home and how the agent likes to list their homes too. For us, we like to go a little bit under, let it drive up. And I think a great example is, I know I brought it up last week, but the home we listed, we listed right at 650, 64995. One came on the market literally the next week for 654,000. Where we were kind of like worrying about was because literally next door, the one listed for 600.
Yeah.
So I guess what's this going to go? We found out, I can't tell you what price we landed at yet. It hasn't sold, but the one that listed a week after us sold for 615. So they priced high, it dropped down. I will say that we priced a little under and it drove up. So I think it's having a good pricing strategy, having it staged, having it done correctly, having your photos nice,
Let me ask you this. So besides price,
okay.
I mean, would you say price is the number one factor?
Yes and no. I mean, it just goes into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's just say, besides price, what do you think is the most important thing?
I think having your home ready. I think there's nothing worse than like going to a home, you see it looks beautiful online, you're like, wow, this looks amazing. You go there, I'm like, it smells weird, it looks weird, it doesn't really fit what you're seeing. So I'd say having your home ready is what I'd say.
So, I mean, when you talk to somebody and they're like, hey, come over, I'm ready, I want to sign, I want to list my house with you, and you go in there and maybe, I mean, it doesn't look the way you think it needs to. Yeah. I mean, how do you have that conversation?
I mean, it's a tough one. I think it's really kind of figuring out their needs. So that's where I like to ask, like, okay, here's the price range of your home. So let's just use the 600,000. So I'd be like, where it's at right now, it'd probably be like 580. If you do a little bit to it, we could probably go like 630. So I try to ask them, what are you wanting to do to some? What price range are you trying to land at? Here's where you're at. So some of them might be like, sure, I'll go do this landscaping to make it look better to get a higher price. Some say, I just want it sold. So I think it's really just kind of figuring out the seller's needs. Mm-hmm. For us, a lot of times we'll kind of kick in and help out and just get reimbursed back. I think that's kind of the better way of doing it because we want to make sure it sells at a higher price.
So, I mean, the old saying, you never get a second chance at a first impression, right? Yeah. So if you drive up to a house,
yep.
And I mean, we can talk about this till the cows come home, but where do the cows go? I mean, seriously, where did they go? Why are they coming home? I don't understand that saying, really.
And every time I see a cow, they're outside. So where is the home?
I don't. And they just live in like a fenced area. So like, where did they go? I don't even know. Anyway. So
I don't know where they go.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you drive up to a house,
yeah,
and the yard is horrific.
Yeah,
the paint is bad.
Okay.
You open the house and it looks fantastic inside. Or vice versa. Which is worse in your opinion?
I would say the inside looking bad. Because the outside looking bad, depending on the time of the year, if it's like the wintertime, you're like, it's the wintertime. There's things you can do to kind of fix it. If it's summertime, you're like, there's a drought right now. So there's things you can do to fix it. Like I've spray painted grass green before. No, I'm just kidding. I've done that. But I've seen someone do that before. It's really crazy. I'm like, dude, this does not look real. You can tell the grass is dead. But I would think in my personal opinion, the inside is what needs to look the best because that's really where they're living, right?
Yeah.
And some people don't care about yard. yards.
And what do you think's the most common thing that with your listings you find that you have to talk to people about? I mean, in terms of like, hey, we need you to put all your pictures away, or hey, we need you to, like, is there something that you think comes up over and over again?
I think that's actually a good question. I've really thought about it like that. I would say
That's what I'm here for.
I know you are. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't like using the word decluttering, but decluttering. I think that's the biggest thing. You don't realize it. Like the house can look good, and you go open the closets, and you're like, oh my god, it's like busting out. So you're really trying to showcase the home being big. You don't want anyone like who wants to buy a home and you go in there like, wow, I'm gonna have to buy storage too. So you really want the home to look good and spacious, and decluttering is one of them. I think that's the biggest one.
So are people concerned about, like, are they more concerned about how big the lot is or how much parking they have?
That depends on the person.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's some people like I had one where they had a big rig and they're like, I really need space for a big rig. But then you have other ones where like I have 3 dogs and they're running all over the place. And so, we need to find space for them too. So
yeah.
I'd probably say the yard. I think yard would probably be number one.
Yeah. Have you ever lived someplace with no parking?
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not good at all.
It's not fun. You can't have anyone over. No.
I had a place where my truck was like, I backed up right to the garage.
Yeah.
And it was still sticking out. And every single day the neighbors would complain. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I'm sorry I don't have what are those little cars? Like
We're not talking politics.
No, little cars. I don't know where you're going to that one.
Well, I thought you were going to go down to like, never mind. Okay.
I think that's it. I mean, my biggest question I have for you though, what did you do for Valentine's Day? Is your wife happy? Do anything crazy?
So here's the difference, right? Like, and we talked about this, a little bit before, but I think that, you've got, your wife, and she's, when's the baby due?
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Dude, it is like,
dude, like, are you mentally prepared for this?
I'm not. I still forget that she's pregnant. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot you have a baby inside of you. And
I bet she doesn't.
She does not.
No.
I'm doing the nice thing, rubbing the feet, doing the baths, cleaning the house, trying to cook, do all the whole thing.
What do you think is going to be the biggest adjustment for you?
It's a girl. I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
I have a little sister, and I remember like growing up, I'm like, man, I got to protect her.
But what about right out of the gate?
What
do you think is going to be your biggest adjustment?
The crying. I think that's gonna be because like my dog, like when he like has a toy away, he's like woo, whining the whole time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is he whining about? Now I'm like, you can't be mad. That's your baby. That's gonna be crazy. I think that's
actually not true. And I'm going to ask you about that in
what do you
about
mean?
6 months. Well, you say you're not going to be mad. Like, you're not. I mean, you will be mad. I'm just saying you will.
Okay, you can't express that you're mad.
No, ish.
I guess yes. Ask me in 6 months. We'll see. Right now,
no, we'll see.
Yes, I'm stoked for the crying. So what about Valentine's?
Oh yeah, Valentine's. Kind of changed the topic there. So what I was going to say is, you've been married how long?
Married almost 6 years. Been together for like 8.
Okay, I think this year was Valentine's Day number 30 something for me. We've never been a big gift giver people. It's like we're some sort of culture. Yeah. We're not a gift giving people. Like we have always just kind of been like, you kind of buy whatever you want throughout the year, and so it's.
You tell me what you want. Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it's always been. So, I mean, it's not just Valentine's Day. It's Christmas. It's holidays. We don't do a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't do anything. It was kind of like, hey, have Valentine's Day. Have a good day.
That sounds like a good day.
Yeah, I mean, just like any other day.
Yeah.
It's like instead of Valentine's Day, hey, have a good Wednesday.
Happy Valentine's.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I didn't say that today.
Did you do a card or anything, or like?
No.
But you said I love you.
Of course.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay.
I mean, that's
the
good. Thing is that Valentine's Day is like kind of made up.
Personally, I don't like it because why do you have to? The one day, this is the one day I say I love you, or the one day I express I love you. I'm like, I feel like I express I love you all year long, right? At least I think I do.
Yeah.
But for some reason,
do you think she feels that way?
She says I'm the best husband she's ever had.
Is that right?
She'll handle it.
Yeah,
So that's
well,
good.
I mean, good enough.
Yeah. But my problem is that I realized is I set the bar too high.
Mm.
Like when we got together, 8 years ago, I was like doing this whole thing. I mean, like rented a place, got a hotel, did the whole, oh my gosh, flowers, chocolates, and cooking a dinner, and what you see like in the movies. Because I was like just trying to like get her to like me.
Was it kind of like John Cusack? Were you holding the boombox?
Yeah, I was. It wasn't a boombox. It was a Sonos. It was one of the Sonos Roams. So I was like,
I forget you're a lot younger, so yeah, no, probably, and it probably sounded a lot better.
Dude, it was like the neighbors got pissed.
You just had the little Roam like this, where you're just like,
there you go.
Yeah,
I had it on my shoulder, but then it was like hurting kind of too. But I think that was my biggest mistake, because now I have to live up to that every year. One year I tried doing like, oh, let's do like burgers, and she was like, oh,
really?
And I'm like, ouch.
So she expects Cupid in all his glory.
I think she does, So what I do is I rent, like I'm my neighbor's baby, and it just comes over. I'm just kidding.
Wow. He's an archer already? Yeah. That's amazing.
I know. Well, he's going places.
You can practice that too soon.
True. I think he meant me personally. I was like, I don't know if you want me in that little thing.
No.
Like, I don't know. That's the best sight. That might scare her away. And she will want another husband.
We're not going to ever do the show with that.
No. Well.
Okay, so a question for you.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl.
Okay.
We haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
So let's start with the commercials.
Like my favorite one or what?
I think so. Like, which one did you like best?
I keep forgetting the name of it, but the one where the whole TV flickered.
Tubi.
Yeah. That was like, it threw me off. I legit thought that I was on the remote or something like.
Everybody in America was looking for the remote.
That was
who's got the remote? Who switched this?
Yeah. That was like really like capturing.
It was crazy.
They probably got like a 99% approval on that one.
It was crazy. I mean, like it was so. It looked like we've all done.
Yeah.
Where you're like, who's got the remote? You know?
Yeah.
And it's so they did a great job with that.
Well, because everyone streams now, so you know what I mean. Like when I was watching, I was streaming, so I legit thought that someone was on the remote.
Hang on. I also liked Bradley Cooper and his mom. I thought that was pretty funny for T-Mobile.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't even recognize them.
Yeah, well, that's what she said. She goes, "You look terrible. You look terrible, Bradley." I thought that one was pretty good.
Can you do that one more time?
And I liked the Tony Romo, the Caddyshack one.
Yeah.
The game itself, great game.
Yeah.
The holding call at the end. I mean, the guy admitted it was holding. You could call that on every play in every football game. I would have liked to have just seen it end a little different. It was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every Super Bowl, there's always like that one call where you're like, why'd you call that? Like, you know what I mean? And it would have been a game changer call, but they're also under high stress too. So who knows? What I don't like though is like what you're saying is playing the clock. You know what I mean? Just kind of like letting it dwindle down. I don't really respect that.
But the whole point is to try to win.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that is a way to winning.
It's kind of a strategy.
It's like, come on. I was going to say we're paying for this, but it was free, so never mind. We weren't paying for it.
What I'll tell you I liked the most was I saw the interviews with the coach of the Eagles and all the players of the Eagles, which he obviously has coached them well.
Yeah.
And they all said, we will never disparage what the referees do. They have a very difficult job. And, that was, and the guy who did it, he said, yeah, I held him. Like, damn, I have a lot of respect for that. Like, they were not complaining about the refs. They just said, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Better luck next year.
Well,
and with that,
I think that's all I have for it.
Okay.
All right.
So, did we come up with anything? Hopefully, you have a martini time.
I thought it was it's time to have a martini. No, that sounds weird.
I don't think that even is.
I don't know. We still need to think of one. If you have suggestions, though, please let us know because honestly,
we struggle.
Have yourself a martini time.
That sounds like a Christmas song.
Have yourself
a
martini time.
So until next week, have a martini time.
Yeah. Cheers.